What up, y'all? This is Michael Miles with the Plot Twist 215. Happy Friday to you all. To you all. Hope everyone is good as we go into this weekend. So, speaking of this weekend, and speaking of today is the official release of Wakanda Forever, aka Black Panther 2. I keep wanting to call it Black Panther 2, but technically it's called Wakanda Forever. Today is the official release, November the 11th. So, let's talk. So, right now, theaters are already starting to be packed out. I was actually trying to buy a ticket for this weekend, for Saturday, at a theater not too far away from me. The theater was all just about sold out, so I had to kind of plan B it. This obviously is a big movie right now, right? Worldwide, and definitely for the MCU and for the fans. So, with that being said, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great film. However, in times like these, when sequels come out, we tend to compare them to the first one. And most of the time we compare it to what we thought about the movie. Was it better than the first? All that type of stuff. And obviously, with Chadwick's passing and this being the sequel and him not being in it and them not recasting T'Challa, all that stuff is in the mix. I'm sure it's going to play a part in terms of the experience that we all have with the film. But I couldn't help but have a question in my mind. About the comparison between the two films. And I thought it would be an interesting topic to talk about for a video. And the question is, will Wakanda Forever outperform Black Panther in the theaters? By outperform, I'm talking about the box office. Will it bring in more money than Black Panther? Now, it doesn't have to. It can still be a better film and not bring in as much potentially. But I think it's an interesting question. Will it do better in the box office, particularly during this opening weekend? Now, I'll give my thoughts on that in a second, but right now I want to say take a second to subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Give this video a like if you found it valuable, if you found it interesting, and yeah, give it a thumbs up and helps with the algorithm, and lets me know that you liked it and found it of value, and encourages me definitely to continue to make the videos. So, with that being said, Wakanda Forever and Black Panther. Do I personally think that it will outperform Black Panther with the first film? I think it has a good chance. I don't think it's going to beat the lifetime gross of the film, but I think it does have a chance of beating it for the opening weekend. And let me give you some idea. Let me give you some numbers behind that. The first film, when it first dropped back in February 16, 2018, the film brought in opening weekend and brought in $202,003,951 this opening weekend. That's from a Friday to Sunday. So that's how much it brought in. It was number one that weekend. It was out for a long time, and it originally released in over 4,000 theaters, 4,020 theaters to be exact. And so all this is from boxofficemojo.com. If you want to check out the numbers, fact check me. So that's the number to beat for Wakanda Forever. Like if we were to kind of compare the two films in that way. Now, if I were to choose, if I had to choose, yes or no, I'm leaning towards that it might not. Though it does have a chance, I'm leaning towards it may not perform as much. I think it's still going to do great. I think it may even rank right in terms of their top 10 openings. I don't know if it will do that though. I think it's a good chance, but I'm leaning towards maybe not. Only because it's hard to recreate that level of push and hype for a movie like the first Black Panther. Now, there's still obviously a lot of hype around this one. I don't know if it's at the same level though. And maybe that could be me underestimating that, but I just don't know if it's going to be able to. I just don't know if that's being recreated right now and to give it the push that it needs to do better than the first film. But now, what I am confident of is that it will do better than the prior films, like the other films in Phase 4. And that's everything from Black Widow down to Wakanda Forever being the last one to finish out Phase 4. I think it's going to outperform the majority of them. I think the only one that it probably won't do better than is Spider-Man No Way Out. No Way Home. The reason why I say that is because on their top grossing films, Spider-Man No Way Home is their second one. Now, could it potentially beat it? Now, that's over a lifetime so far. Avengers Endgame being number 1, Spider-Man No Way Home being number 2, and then Black Panther being its third, but number 6 on the all-time grossing list. Not to mention that No Way Home outperformed the first Black Panther film during this opening weekend and brought in a little over $60 million more than the first film did during this opening weekend. And so will Wakanda Forever outperform both of them and then take that number 2 spot? I don't know. We'll see. But that remains to be seen, but we'll see. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. So, and now in terms of the overarching kind of lifetime of the film, I don't think that Wakanda Forever is going to outperform Black Panther. I think that Black Panther made such a cultural impact. It was such a, I mean, obviously such hype around that movie. It's still a lot of hype around the sequel as well, Wakanda Forever, but I don't think it's going to outperform that. And to give some numbers to that, so Black Panther overall, like domestically, the domestic numbers, over $700 million that the movie brought in domestically. Right, internationally, almost $647 million if we round up. So $646,853,595 for how much that movie brought in. So if we round up, $647 million that Black Panther brought in, which means that the worldwide amount, like the worldwide performance of that movie, money-wise, whatever, how much it brought in was over $1.3 billion. $1.3 billion over the lifetime of the film. Do I think Wakanda is going to beat that? That remains to be seen. Again, we're 4 years removed from the first film. That you know, for these numbers to be added up. So we'll see what happens with that. But over $1.3 billion, making Black Panther one of their top grossing, again, films for the MCU of all time. And so we'll see if Wakanda Forever will do that. I don't think that it will. Again, it does not have to. I think we're going to still get a good film. Obviously, Chadwick will not be in there, and I think that's going to impact, how many people receive the film. But I think they know what they're doing. If anything, if we can say about the MCU, they know how to keep the storyline going, and they know how to keep us in it. You know what I'm saying? So, and also too, but now let me kind of add to that though. I think that the MCU needs Wakanda Forever right now. Phase 4 wasn't the greatest phase, in my opinion, for the MCU. Some of their worst performing films were in this phase, specifically Eternals and Thor: Love and Thunder. Now, in terms of the box office, they got numbers, but in terms of the ratings or whatnot, or like Rotten Tomatoes and people's the audience scores and things like that, when they dropped, they were not. I mean, they were still. I think they still are among their worst received films. So this phase wasn't the greatest. Obviously, there's some movies that are coming up that that seem pretty promising. But I think the MCU right now needs to end out Phase 4 with a movie like Wakanda Forever. And so I think we're going to get a good film. I think we're not going to be, disappointed. It looks like it's going to be great. So it potentially could be a better film than Black Panther. We'll see about that too. I think that I think that personally, I think it will. I like the direction that they're going with the storyline. We're bringing in Atlantis, bringing in Namor, introducing some additional characters. So I think that we'll get a better experience than we did in Black Panther. I think the first Black Panther was great. However, I think Wakanda Forever will be a sequel that will be better than the original, which sometimes doesn't always happen. But I think we'll see that with this film. So let me know what you think. If you think I'm crazy, put it in the comments. I think it's a conversation, as to whether or not we think this is going to be outperforming, which is a different question. A different question from, do we think it's going to be a better movie? What do you think? Do you think Wakanda Forever is going to bring in more? Do you think it's going to outperform all the other films in Phase 4, which includes movies like The Eternals, Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange? What else we got? Black Widow. Spider-Man: No Way Home, all those films, right? Everything from Black Widow all the way down to Wakanda Forever. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe. Again, this is Michael Miles with the Plot Twist 215. Looking forward to your comments. Peace.